The Nexian fleet emerged from hyperspace like a constellation being born, their crystalline ships refracting sunlight across Earth's atmosphere in patterns that would later be described as both beautiful and terrible. Admiral Sarah Chen stood at the United Earth Defense Command's observation deck, her weathered face illuminated by dozens of holographic displays, tracking the alien armada's approach. They're maintaining position just beyond lunar orbit, Lieutenant Rodriguez reported, his fingers dancing across the quantum interface. No weapons signatures detected. Their energy emissions matched the peaceful contact protocols they transmitted last month. Sarah nodded, but 20 years of military service had taught her that peace often wore deception's mask. The Nexians had appeared 3 months ago, broadcasting messages of friendship and technological exchange across every frequency. Their timing was impeccable. Earth had just achieved quantum fold capability, marking their entrance into the galactic community. Status of the welcome delegation, she asked, eyes fixed on the largest of the alien vessels, a structure that resembled a massive geometric snowflake. Ambassador Williams' shuttle is on approach. All diplomatic protocols are being followed to the letter. Rodriguez paused, then added, "The Nexians are singing." Indeed, across all frequencies, a haunting melody echoed. The aliens' traditional greeting, they claimed. The sound made Sarah's skin crawl. In the following hours, Earth's major cities erupted in celebration. The Nexians shared glimpses of their advanced technology. Clean energy systems, medical breakthroughs, faster-than-light travel innovations. Their leader, High Commander Zix, spoke of unity and progress. Humanity dared to dream of a golden age. That dream shattered exactly 48 hours after first contact. The attack came during the global celebration. The singing transformed into a weapon, a quantum resonance that disrupted every electronic system on Earth's surface. Military installations went dark. Communications collapsed. The crystalline ships shed their beautiful facades, revealing weapon arrays that had been hidden in plain sight. Sarah watched in horror as the first energy beams struck Earth's major defense installations. The quantum shields they'd been so proud of, their greatest achievement, failed against weapons operating on principles they'd never imagined. "Get me any functioning military command," she shouted, but the quantum disruption had been thorough. Their technology, the foundation of modern human civilization, had become their greatest vulnerability. In the chaos, Sarah noticed something peculiar. Dr. Emily Nash, a quantum physicist who had been consulting on defense systems, was smiling. Not the manic smile of someone who'd lost hope, but the confident grin of someone who knew something everyone else didn't. "Admiral," Emily said, her voice steady despite the explosions illuminating the sky outside. "They forgot to check humanity's most basic rules of warfare." "What are you talking about? Our weapons are useless, our communications are dark, and that singing is giving me a migraine." Sarah snapped, frustration evident in her voice. Emily pulled out an ancient device from her bag, a hand-cranked radio from the previous century. "Rule number 1, Admiral. Humans never put all their eggs in one basket." While everyone was celebrating our quantum technology, some of us remembered the old ways. The radio crackled to life, its analog signals untouched by the quantum disruption. Across its frequencies, resistance cells were already coordinating. Underground bunkers, maintained more out of tradition than necessity, were activating. Mechanical systems, considered obsolete just days ago, hummed to life. Sarah watched as Emily connected the radio to a series of what looked like Cold War-era equipment. "Sometimes," the physicist said, "the best way forward is to take a step back." The Nexians study our quantum technology, but they never bothered to look at our history. As the aliens celebrated their seemingly perfect victory above, humanity was about to remind them why Earth's species had survived countless extinction events. The real war was just beginning, and humans had always been at their most dangerous when backed into a corner. Earth's darkest hour was about to become the Nexians' worst nightmare. The next 72 hours redefined the meaning of chaos. Major cities worldwide lay under crystalline domes, beautiful prisons that refracted sunlight into disorienting patterns. High Commander Zix's smug holographic projections dominated the skies, declaring Earth's peaceful integration into the Nexian collective. But in an underground bunker beneath the Rocky Mountains, Dr. Emily Nash was proving why humans had a reputation for being cockroaches of the galaxy, impossible to exterminate completely. The Nexians made 3 critical mistakes, she explained to the assembled group of military leaders and resistance fighters. The room was lit by old fluorescent tubes, powered by diesel generators that predated the quantum age. First, they assumed our technological development was linear. Second, they thought destroying our quantum infrastructure would paralyze us. Third, and most importantly, they didn't understand human paranoia. Admiral Chen, her uniform dusty, but her bearing still commanding, studied the ancient maps spread across a steel table. Elaborate on that last point, Doctor. Emily grabbed a piece of chalk, actual calcium carbonate, not a holographic stylus, and began writing on a blackboard. Every major military power kept redundant systems running on pre-quantum technology, not because we needed them, but because soldiers like Admiral Chen here never trusted putting all our defense eggs in one technological basket. The chalk scratched across the board as she drew diagrams. The Nexians' quantum resonance weapon was elegant. It didn't just disable our technology, it turned it against us. But they never bothered to scan for electromagnetic emissions below a certain threshold. Why would they? In their experience, no advanced civilization would still maintain such primitive systems. A soldier raised his hand. But what good are old radios and mechanical computers against their crystalline ships? Emily's grin turned predatory. Remember when I said they didn't understand human paranoia? During the quantum revolution, I was part of a secret think tank. Our job was to imagine worst-case scenarios. One of them was exactly this, an enemy using our quantum technology against us. So we developed a countermeasure, something so absurd no alien race would ever see it coming. She pulled out what looked like an ordinary pencil. This is a mechanical quantum inverter. No electronics, no quantum circuits, just precisely arranged graphite and wood pulp. When activated by specific sound frequencies, say from an old vinyl record player, it creates a cascade effect in quantum fields. Think of it as using a stone axe to disable a fusion reactor. Around the room, understanding began to dawn on tired faces. Humanity hadn't just preserved old technology out of habit or tradition. They'd weaponized obsolescence itself. The Nexians are broadcasting their control signals through quantum fields they think we can't touch anymore, Emily continued. But while they were studying our latest technology, they ignored our history. They don't know that in 1987, a Soviet scientist theorized about mechanical quantum manipulation. Everyone thought he was crazy, until we proved him right during the quantum crisis of 2040. Admiral Chen's eyes narrowed. How many of these inverters do we have? Thousands, hidden in museums, antique shops, and school supply stores across the planet. The resistance cells are already collecting them. But we'll need a coordinated effort to use them effectively. The Admiral turned to her remaining officers. Contact every resistance cell still operating. Use the old shortwave frequencies. Tell them to look for number 2 pencils with a small crown symbol stamped on them. And find me every vinyl record player still functioning on this continent. As the group dispersed to their tasks, Emily watched the Nexian ships through a periscope that could have been used in World War I. The aliens' crystalline vessels sparkled with quantum energy, their occupants completely unaware that humanity's salvation would come not from their advanced technology, but from the primitive tools they'd never abandoned. In the distance, an old air raid siren began to wail, not powered by quantum circuits, but by simple electric motors. Across the fallen nations, similar sirens joined the chorus. The sound carried a message to those who knew what to listen for. Humanity was down, but far from out. And soon, The Nexians would learn why Earth's history was filled with stories of empires that fell after underestimating seemingly primitive opponents. The Resistance named it Operation Gramophone. In the ruins of cities worldwide, small groups moved under cover of darkness, carrying vinyl record players and boxes of carefully selected pencils. The Nexians, monitoring quantum frequencies for signs of human technology, remained oblivious to the mechanical revolution brewing beneath their crystalline fortresses. High Commander Zix stood in his command center aboard the flagship Eternal Clarity, watching Earth's cities glitter under their containment domes. His secondary eyes pulsed with satisfaction as reports of human submission continued to flow in. Their quantum networks remained disabled, his science officer reported. No signs of technological resurrection. These humans are remarkably docile without their precious computers. Zix's mandibles clicked in amusement. They called themselves the masters of adaptation. Yet here they are, helpless without their quantum toys. Prepare for Phase 2 of the integration. But deep within London's underground system, adaptation was taking a very different form. Dr. Emily Nash stood before a gathering of scientists and engineers from across Europe, all brought together through a network of old pneumatic message tubes and Morse code. The mechanical quantum inverters are just the beginning, she explained, her voice echoing through the tunnel. What we're about to attempt goes beyond simply disrupting their control signals. We're going to turn their own quantum resonance against them. She revealed a massive vinyl record, its grooves unlike any music recording. This contains a pattern that, when played through our network of inverters, will create a cascading quantum feedback loop. Think of it as using their own song to sing them to sleep. In New York's subway system, Admiral Chen coordinated with resistance cells using a system of underground telegraph lines that hadn't been used in over a century. The Nexians' quantum dampening field ended at ground level. They never thought to look below. Teams in position worldwide. A young lieutenant reported, decoding the incoming Morse signals, waiting for 0 hour. Chen checked her mechanical chronometer. Another piece of technology the Nexians had dismissed as obsolete. Remind all teams, synchronization is crucial. When the air raid sirens start, they'll have exactly 3 minutes to begin playback. The plan was audacious, perhaps even insane. But then, humanity's greatest achievements often walk the line between genius and madness. In Tokyo, resistance fighters converted an old pachinko parlor into a command center, the mechanical balls used to tap out coded messages. In Moscow, the metro system became a vast communication network, running on technology that hadn't changed since the Cold War. In Cairo, ancient water clocks kept synchronization when all modern timepieces failed. The Nexians had studied Earth's quantum age, but missed a crucial detail. Humans never fully abandoned any technology. They simply added new layers to their technological foundation, keeping the old systems as backup. This wasn't mere sentimentality. It was strategic redundancy born from millennia of warfare and disaster. Emily made final adjustments to the master record player, its brass components gleaming in the emergency lighting. The Nexians based their invasion on a fundamental misunderstanding of human nature, she told her team. They saw our quantum leap as evidence that we'd evolved beyond our primitive past. They thought we'd discarded our old tools like children outgrowing toys. She ran her hand along the record's surface. But humans don't evolve in straight lines. We expand in all directions simultaneously. Every piece of technology we've ever created still exists somewhere, maintained by enthusiasts, collectors, or paranoid military officers. We're not just the species that looks forward. We're the species that refuses to forget. Across the globe, resistance cells gathered around record players, each equipped with mechanical quantum inverters disguised as ordinary pencils. The vinyl records they held contained no music, but rather a precise pattern of grooves calculated to generate specific mechanical vibrations. When played simultaneously through the inverters, these vibrations would interact with quantum fields in ways the Nexians believed impossible without advanced technology. Admiral Chen received the final confirmation signal. a simple pattern of taps that had once warned of approaching bombers. She took a deep breath, remembering her grandfather's stories of previous wars, of humanity's endless cycle of fall and resurrection. "Send the signal," she ordered. "Let's remind these aliens why Earth's history is filled with comeback stories." As air raid sirens began their ancient wail across the planet, thousands of record players spun to life in basements, bunkers, and underground stations. The resistance was about to demonstrate that sometimes the best way to fight the future was with weapons from the past. The first sign that something was wrong came when the crystalline ships began to vibrate. Subtle at first, barely noticeable, but High Commander Zix felt it through the deck plates of the Eternal Clarity. His secondary eyes flickered with the first traces of concern as status reports began flooding in. Unknown interference pattern detected in the quantum field. His science officer reported, mandibles clicking in agitation. The resonance, it's changing. In the underground bunker, Emily Nash watched the frequency monitors, old analog devices with swinging needles instead of digital displays. "It's working," she whispered, then louder, "It's working." The quantum cascade is building exactly as predicted. Above ground, the Nexian containment domes began to sing. Not the controlled, weaponized harmonics they had used to subjugate Earth, but a chaotic, growing resonance that made their crystalline structures shudder. The mechanical quantum inverters, powered by nothing more sophisticated than spinning vinyl and precisely arranged graphite, were creating impossibly complex interference patterns in the quantum field. Admiral Chen watched through ancient periscopes as the first dome cracked, spiderweb patterns spreading across its surface. Status report from all sectors. London reporting success. Moscow, Beijing, Cairo. The reports came in via Morse code, each one confirming the same thing. The Nexian quantum network was unraveling. But it was aboard the Eternal Clarity that the true magnitude of humanity's counterattack became apparent. High Commander Zix staggered as his ship's quantum core began to fluctuate wildly. "Impossible," he hissed. "They have no functioning technology. Our dampening field." "Sir," his tactical officer's voice carried an edge of panic, "we're detecting energy signatures. Everywhere. They're not coming from quantum sources. They're mechanical vibrations." In the tunnels beneath Paris, Emily explained to her team what was happening. The Nexians built their entire civilization on quantum manipulation. They thought they were immune to primitive mechanical forces, but quantum fields don't care about technological sophistication. The right mechanical vibration, properly timed and distributed, can disrupt quantum coherence just as effectively as any advanced technology. The Resistance's network of record players, each running in perfect synchronization thanks to mechanical chronometers, was creating a symphony of destruction. The vinyl records, encoded with mathematical patterns that had taken years to perfect, were generating mechanical waves that translated into quantum disruptions. It was like using a tuning fork to shatter a wine glass, scaled up to planetary levels. Aboard the Eternal Clarity, Zix watched in horror as his mighty fleet began to lose cohesion. The crystalline structures of their ships, maintained by quantum fields, were becoming unstable. "Order all ships to emergency protocols. Reconfigure the quantum matrices." But his officers had discovered another problem. "Sir, our reconfiguration protocols. They're locked out. Something is overriding our quantum access codes." In the Rocky Mountain bunker, Admiral Chen smiled as she received confirmation of the operation's second phase. Dr. Nash wasn't the only one preparing for this day, she said to her staff. While she was developing the mechanical quantum inverters, another team was working on Project Echo. Deep beneath the Antarctic ice, in a facility so secret even most world leaders didn't know it existed, ancient computer systems from the 1960s whirred to life. These machines, programmed with punch cards and magnetic tape, began broadcasting signals that the Nexians had never thought to guard against. Their quantum encryption, designed to resist attacks from advanced AI systems, was helpless against algorithms so primitive they looped back around to brilliance. The Nexians thought quantum computing made all other forms of information processing obsolete, Chen explained. They never imagined we'd maintain a global network of vacuum tube computers, programmed specifically to infiltrate and override quantum systems. Sometimes, the best way through advanced security is to use tools so old they're seen as harmless. The Resistance's twin-pronged attack, mechanical disruption of quantum fields combined with cyber infiltration from computers too primitive to be detected, was creating a cascade failure throughout the Nexian fleet. Their mighty ships, once seemingly invincible, were now trapped in a web of their own quantum instabilities. As the sun rose over Earth's major cities, the containment domes continued to crack and shatter. But for High Commander Zix and his invasion fleet, the real nightmare was just beginning. They were about to learn the true meaning of humanity's most fundamental military protocol. Always have a backup plan for your backup plan. High Commander Zix watched his empire crumble through rapidly destabilizing quantum viewers. The Eternal Clarity's bridge, once a testament to crystalline perfection, now rippled like water in a storm. His mighty invasion fleet, designed to subjugate worlds far more advanced than Earth, was being undone by technology so primitive his scientists had dismissed it as archaeological curiosity. Full retreat, he ordered, his voice distorted by failing quantum harmonics. Disengage from orbit immediately. But retreat wasn't an option. The same mechanical vibrations disrupting their ship's quantum cohesion had trapped them in a resonance web. Every attempt to engage their quantum drives only intensified the destructive harmonics. In the underground command center, Dr. Emily Nash monitored the cascade effect through analog instruments. The quantum feedback loop is self-sustaining now, she reported to Admiral Chen. Their own power systems are amplifying our disruption signal. Chen nodded, watching through old periscopes as crystalline ships began to shed fragments of their once perfect hulls. Send the message. Give them one chance. Across the planet, the network of record players synchronized one final time. But instead of destructive harmonics, they transmitted a simple message, broadcast on frequencies so old the Nexians had never thought to monitor them. This is humanity's final warning. Your quantum systems will continue to degrade. Your ships will continue to fail. But unlike your attack on us, we offer you a choice. Power down your remaining weapons, release your control over Earth's cities, and you will be allowed to leave. Refuse, and learn why every species that has ever tried to conquer Earth has regretted it. On the Eternal Clarity's failing bridge, Zix received the transmission through what remained of his command systems. His secondary eyes pulsed with a new emotion. Fear. How? He demanded of his science officer. How did we miss this? We? The science officer's mandibles clicked nervously. We never considered their technological regression as a strategic choice. Their maintenance of obsolete systems appeared to be mere sentimentality, a cultural weakness. We were wrong. In London's underground tunnels, Emily explained to her team what the Nexians had failed to understand. They saw technology as a linear progression, always moving forward. But humans, we're pack rats. We keep everything, maintain everything, because we've learned the hard way that today's obsolete technology might be tomorrow's salvation. The Nexian fleet hung in Earth's orbit, their once beautiful ships now resembling cracked glass sculptures. High Commander Zix, his pride warring with his instinct for survival, made his choice. The quantum containment domes over Earth's cities began to dissolve, not into destruction, but into harmless light. His transmission carried the weight of unthinkable defeat. We accept your terms. As the Nexian fleet limped away from Earth orbit, powered by emergency non-quantum systems, Admiral Chen stood with Emily in the Rocky Mountain bunker's observation room. They watched the sunrise through a window made of simple glass. No quantum enhancement, no crystalline technology, just silicon and skill. They'll be back, won't they? Emily asked, fingers running along the mechanical quantum inverter that had helped save humanity. Not the Nexians, but others. Earth's apparent technological regression will look like weakness to other advanced civilizations. Chen smiled, the kind of smile that carried centuries of human military wisdom. Let them come. Every time someone tries to conquer Earth, they learn the same lesson. Humanity doesn't just adapt. We prepare. We remember. We keep our old weapons sharp while forging new ones. She picked up one of the vinyl records that had helped save civilization. The next would be conquerors will study this invasion, learn about the mechanical quantum inverters, prepare for old technology, and will defeat them with something else they overlooked, underestimated, or dismissed as obsolete. Because that's what humans do, Emily finished. We don't just survive. We weaponize the very reasons others think will fail. As cleanup crews began removing the crystalline debris from city streets, Earth's ancient air raid sirens sounded one final time. But now they carried a different message: victory, resilience, and a warning to any watching species. Humanity had reminded the galaxy of rule number 1. Never assume humans have forgotten how to use their old weapons, because sometimes the oldest weapons work the best.